Okay, picture this. You step out of that intense Kuwaiti heat, right? And into this heavy, almost refrigerated silence. An upscale apartment building in Salmiya.
Yeah, Salmiya, known for those amazing sea views. Just beautiful, a place where wealth is. So it's just expected.
But inside this particular apartment, forget the ocean breeze, just this deep, really unsettling stillness. This was home once, to Nader and Mona, a couple seemingly all about success, image, money.
Mm-hmm.
And for the building owner, the silence, it was getting really expensive, agonizingly so.
Right, 3 months had passed. No rent payment, nothing.
And down below, Nader's own car just sitting there, gathering dust, hasn't moved an inch.
You just know something's wrong at that point.
Totally. But, property laws,
Yeah.
they take time. It took another 3 months, believe it or not, just to get the legal go-ahead to reclaim the apartment.
So 6 months of this tension building. Finally, security forces arrive with the landlord.
And what they find at the door is immediately strange.
Yeah, it wasn't just locked, it was like heavily secured. Multiple locks, complex ones. Almost like someone wasn't trying to keep people out, but desperately sealing something in.
Shit.
So they finally get the door open, and the air hits them stale. The place is empty. Looks like it has been touched in a long, long time.
Here were signs of life.
Except for one thing. Cutting through that total silence, this one single mechanical hum. A big, deep freezer just running in the corner.
Humming away. And that hum, that was the sound of pure horror. Because when they finally lifted that lid, well, it wasn't frozen food inside.
Well,
it was a corpse. Fully frozen, just terrifying, a statue almost. And this discovery, it wasn't just some local tragedy. This thing blows up. It ends up involving 4 countries, Kuwait, the Philippines, Syria, and Lebanon, a huge international mess.
wow.
It's a story where this drive for status, this life built on fraud, it collides head-on with a complete collapse of basic humanity.
Okay, so let's dig into the people involved, the couple. Nader Asaf first.
Yeah, Nader Asaf, Lebanese. An only son, apparently quite charismatic, really good salesman. We hear high-end international brands, clothes, shoes, that kind of thing.
He was successful at it.
Very. But crucially, Nader seems to have believed his success was purely down to him. His own smarts, his own hustle, nobody else.
Right, which often masks something else, doesn't it? And apparently he had a pretty difficult relationship with his parents. He felt like they were trying to hold him back, But there's this detail. He apparently hated being alone. Spent most of his childhood with his aunt and cousins. Suggests maybe a deep need for, validation, connection.
And maybe that's where Mona Hassoun comes in.
Exactly. Syrian origin, 3 years younger. They meet in Kuwait, both working in that same high-end retail world.
And they clicked.
Destructively so. They shared these key traits. Smart, ambitious, really focused on money, and crucially, maybe lacking, let's say, strong moral or religious anchors. Plus, she'd been married before. That becomes a sticking point later.
Okay, so how did their dynamic work?
Well, it seems Mona saw Nader, his talent, but also maybe that insecurity we talked about. She deliberately befriended him, and boom, takes control. Fast.
Wait, even though Nader had this strong, successful salesman persona?
Apparently, yeah. Under her influence, he just became weak, compliant. She set the direction, he executed, even though he was the sharp intellect guy.
Huh. Okay, so after about a year of this, they decide to get married.
Right. But Nader's parents strongly disapproved. They didn't trust Mona, especially with the previous marriage thing. They actually refused to go to the wedding in Lebanon.
Didn't stop them, though.
Not at all. They get married, come right back to Kuwait, and immediately rent this super luxurious, very expensive apartment in Salmiya, the one with the view.
And that expensive apartment, that whole facade, that was part of the plan, wasn't it?
Absolutely. They needed that image of wealth and success. Why?
No.
To pull off the illegal schemes they were cooking up, which, we find out later, involved complex fraud, bouncing bad checks, or worse.
So their whole fancy life was basically built on lies, a house of cards.
Pretty much. And a house like that needs staff to keep up appearances. So a year into the marriage, after their first child is born, they hire a housemaid.
This is Joanna Dimafeliz.
Yes, Joanna Dimafeliz, 25 years old, from the Philippines, described as skillful, trustworthy, came from a simple background, family relying on relatives working abroad in the Gulf.
And Nader becomes her official sponsor, her kafil.
Which is key. That legal status made her completely dependent on him. Her right to be in Kuwait, to work, it was all tied to Nader.
And that's where this beautiful apartment turns into something else entirely.
Immediately, the relationship between Mona and Juana, hostile from the get-go. Mona starts fighting with her, insulting her, physically abusing her, constantly.
Joanna couldn't just leave.
She was terrified. Mona held that kafil status over her head constantly. Threats of losing her job, deportation, cutting off the money she sent home to her family. It was a trap.
Awful. Just awful.
And we get this really stark glimpse into Nader's own moral compass, or lack thereof, way before the murder. His own mother comes to visit Kuwait, late 2012. Trying to reconnect, maybe. Just 2 days into the visit, Mona picks a huge fight with her. Massive argument.
And Nader, what does he do?
Does he step in? Protect his mom? Mediate? No. He chooses Mona immediately. Drives his own mother to the airport, books her a ticket back to Beirut, cuts off contact.
Wow. He literally kicked his own mother out within 48 hours to appease his wife.
Yes. It shows a terrifying level of choosing image, choosing Mona over basic decency, over family. The rot was already deep.
Yeah, that's incredibly telling. So Juana is stuck in this nightmare for another whole year.
Until the final, awful trigger. While she's cleaning, Juana accidentally breaks something. A small accessory of Mona's, but apparently valuable.
And Mona just snaps.
Completely. Flies into this blinding rage. And the beating that followed. It was exceptionally severe. This was it. The end.
Okay, the details that came out later from Nader's confession, they're just horrific.
He said Mona used that broken piece of accessory, hit Juana hard on the head with it, knocked her unconscious.
But she didn't stop there.
No. Even with Juana unconscious, Mona kept beating her, torturing her.
Unbelievable. And Nader comes home to this.
Finds this scene. And his first thought isn't guilt or panic about Juana. It's calculation. He's already in legal hot water with all the fraud complaints stacking up.
Right.
He sees this massive assault, possibly murder charge coming, far worse than fraud.
Yeah.
And decides the quickest way out is to eliminate the problem. Eliminate Juana.
And this is where it gets almost incomprehensibly cold.
Nader admitted it. He knew Juana was still alive when he made the decision.
Still alive.
He binds her hands and feet. She can't move, can't struggle. He empties out that big deep freezer they had.
The one that was running when the police arrived?
That's the one. Empties it out and forces her inside. Alive.
Oh my God.
Closes the lid. And then sad.
Yeah.
They just carried on, lived their lives, normally, with their child, for a full year, with her body in the freezer.
A full year. Eating dinner, raising their kid, knowing she's playing that. Right there, in the kitchen.
The level of just normalizing that horror, it's almost impossible to grasp. It's beyond criminal. It's monstrous.
And the cover-up was immediate, wasn't it?
Cynically fast. Just 2 days after murdering her, Nader goes to the police station, files a missing person report, says Juana ran away.
Making her officially an absconder, someone the police should arrest if they find her.
Exactly. And because Juana only called home maybe once or twice a year, her family had no immediate reason to worry. She just vanished, as far as they knew.
So they get away with it for a year.
For a year. But by late 2015, their other crimes start catching up. The fraud complaints, the bad checks. It's getting too hot.
Time to run.
Suddenly, they flee Kuwait. This is about 3 months before the landlord finally gets access and the body is found. They go to Lebanon first, then into Syria.
And then the discovery, the freezer, the body.
Forensics takes over.
Yeah.
No doubt who it is, fingerprints match, Juana fails.
And the evidence of torture, the head wound.
All there. Clear signs of torture, severe blow to the head with something sharp, consistent with the broken accessory Nader mentioned.
But the actual cause of death?
That's the clincher. The official cause of death was freezing, hypothermia.
Which confirms Nader's story. She was alive when he put her in there. Bound and helpless, the cold killed her.
Exactly. The freezer was the murder weapon.
So now Kuwaiti authorities know what happened, who did it, and roughly when. Time for the manhunt.
Right. They contact Interpol immediately. But it's complicated, right? The suspects cross borders.
Syria and Lebanon involved now.
Yep. Eventually, Nader is picked up in Syria, deported back to Lebanon. Mona is also arrested in Syria.
But the discovery itself, the news getting out, that caused waves, didn't it?
Huge waves. A kafil, the sponsor, the person responsible for her murdering his Filipino maid and freezing her body. It triggered an immediate major diplomatic crisis between the Philippines and Kuwait.
Understandably.
Kuwait sentences Nader and Mona to death in absentia. But then the president of the Philippines formally demands they be extradited back to the Philippines to face trial there.
So you have this massive international legal and diplomatic fight brewing.
A real crisis.
Yeah.
Over this horrific crime and the underlying issues with labor sponsorship systems. It took a lot of work behind the scenes to eventually navigate that.
Okay, let's just process this for a second. Living for a year with that secret, raising a child next to a freezer containing the person you murdered.
It's a level of depravity that's hard to fathom. The sheer psychological effort to just normalize that day in, day out.
It really speaks to that idea of moral decay you mentioned, when ambition is purely for self-interest, for money, for image.
Exactly. Their intelligence, their ambition. It wasn't grounded in any basic humanity. It was all tied to this fraudulent lifestyle, this expensive apartment facade.
And when Juana's life threatened to expose that lie.
Her life became disposable. Just another problem to be eliminated, like a bounce check. They chose the lie, the status, over a human being.
Okay, but then there's this really weird, chilling postscript about the apartment itself.
Oh, yeah, this is wild. So the person who originally shared this story, they had a friend
Okay.
who actually rented that same luxury apartment in Salmiya after everything, after the body was found, after the case blew up.
No way. Why? How?
Apparently, they got an unbelievable deal on the rent, like crazy low,
Yeah.
a total steal, because, well, you can imagine why.
Right. Nobody wanted it.
So this friend lives there for over a year, completely unaware of the specifics, just knows it's cheap.
Oblivious.
Until one day, he's at a local barbershop nearby, mentions his address, and the barber just casually says,
What?
You're living in Nader's apartment, you know, the one where nobody stays, because of the corpse in the freezer?
Oh, my God. Can you imagine hearing that?
Right. The friend was, needless to say, horrified. Found out the whole dark history he'd literally been living inside. He moved out immediately.
I don't blame him. Wow. So thinking about this whole thing, Nader, Mona, Juana, it starts with this desperate need for status, for the appearance of success.
Builds on lies, fraud.
And ends in this horrific crime, a diplomatic crisis, and an apartment that basically becomes this haunted monument to their failure.
Yeah. It really makes you think, doesn't it? About the facades people build, the cost of ambition when it's completely cut off from any sense of, well, being human.
How much is the environment, the pressure, and how much is just an internal choice to abandon everything decent? It's a really haunting thought to leave you with.